I would like to start with both of you. Actually, you have building on your 20 years of dedication to realize actually this discovery of the sunken part of Tapozuris Magna. So I would like to know something more about how you collaborated together and how was, the realization you had after the discovery. Thank you.
Oh, you go first. You had 20 years. I had 20 months. So you trumped me.
When I realized that the tunnels were taking me to the Mediterranean Sea, and I stand up in the seashore and I saw the immensity of the Mediterranean. It's open sea, and I knew nothing about how to start mapping that area. I asked at that time one of my team members and a photographer from National Geographic, Ken Garrett, who's the best, the most famous oceanographer in the world. And he said, you have to call Bob Ballard.
Well, living, living. And she did. And I fell in love with her story. I fell in love with her uh, tenacity and the fact that people were saying she was wrong. But she made my job extremely easy. She had a tunnel that pointed directly to where I needed to go. So it was, in many ways, made the ocean very small. But I just loved working and continue working with Kathleen because the work's not done. We still have much more to do. But these recent discoveries really home in on phase 3, 4, 5, whatever phase Kathleen's in. I'm with her all the way.
Oh,
Fantastic. And can I ask you, what is next for you on the horizon? I mean, now that you have done this discovery, what happened, and how it was for you also to bring the story to the National Geographic and decide what to show to the public.
well, what Bob was leading in the underwater project was preparing a map. So we didn't know where to dive and where to excavate. We didn't have any information. So the most important thing is mapping. Bob prepared a guide for us where are the interested locations where we can send divers. I learned so much during the time that he was with us in Taposiris, because first he prepared a command center. I have never seen any of that. And I was a little concerned because before met and work with Bob, I was the first one to wake up every day and the last one to go to bed. But it was no one day that he was not the first one in the command center and the last one to go to bed. So I really don't know from where you got all this energy.
I was taught, see, I have a military background. I started out as a combat infantry officer during Vietnam and then went into the Navy and Navy intelligence. So in the ocean, we work 24 hours a day. It's always dark where we work. So it's very natural to slip into that mode. And I had a great team, and Kathleen had a great team, and we just fused together seamlessly. And I see that team continuing on. But like I say, she made it pretty easy for me by pointing an arrow to where the spot was. So I wish everything I looked for had an arrow pointing at it.
Fantastic. And also, you have often described the seabed of the world's, like the world's largest museum. So I would like you to know, in what ways do you think this underwater archaeology offer like a unique perspective of what was coming out the story of Cleopatra, especially because on the other side, one of the aspects that I found really interesting is that we have our evaluation of Cleopatra from an Egyptian perspective, that, you know, her characters was only used for the narrative to say that was the seductress, but she was a lot way more. And Kathleen just, you know, explained how, and also, you know, the discovery that you have made, it's just, you know, unbelievable.
One of the things that I want to even dedicate my life is to demonstrate that Cleopatra was much more than her enemies, the Romans, tried to portray her. And all the achievement that she had in a time where women were so restricted. She was not only a queen, a head of the most powerful empire, but she also prepared herself since she was a kid. She was the first woman who studied formally at the Museum in Alexandria, the center of muses, where all the knowledge was the center of the knowledge at that time, where all the intellectuals, writers, historians want to be part of it. And they has the biggest library in the ancient world. But also, she had to show some special conditions since she was a kid, that her father broke the laws and allowed her to go to the museum and go to the library. She also spoke 9 languages, all the languages of her time fluently. And since she was a kid, she used to be with her father, and her father used her to translate away from the official translators what the diplomats of that time really wants. They want to tell him. So she was very close to power since she was a kid. It seems that she behaved properly, and she enjoyed it. At the same time, she prepared herself, and it was no doubt from her father, Ptolemy the 12th, to leave Egypt in her hands. But unfortunately, she was a woman and she could not reign without a male figure. That's why they had also to appoint her brother, Ptolemy 13, to for them to marry and rule Egypt together. So Cleopatra did not mind to rule Egypt with her brother, but her brother tried to kill her on the day of the coronation to get rid of her. And
Yeah, exactly.
so I believe that all the experiences that she had all over her life, and how she tried to change things. She tried also, for example, at that time, there were other women pharaohs that reigned and governed Egypt before her. They have to wear beard as a man and dress as a man. But Cleopatra decided to, as for example, Hatshepsut, more than 1,000 years before Cleopatra, she need to wear a beard and look like a man to be considered that she has the conditions to rule Egypt. And Cleopatra removed the beard and she said, no, it's not about gender, it's about substance. And there's so many things that I saw studying her life that made me proud of her.
Yeah, this is amazing. I mean, it's so, you know, you believe you know enough sometimes, you know, about some facts, and then you discover that there is a whole world behind it. So it's fantastic, you know, to discover that. And also, Robert Ballard, can I ask you one more question? Like you have done one of the legendary discovery of the world with the Titanic, but I would like to ask you what you felt and actually what specific, you know, underwater scanner did you use actually to get where Kathleen, you know, sent the arrow for you?
I've been lucky to have been involved in lots of discoveries. This is my favorite. It was just teaming up with Kathleen. I mean, that to me was worth everything. And to be able to work with her and help her attain her dream it's wonderful to be able to associate yourself with chapters of human history. And now I'm fortunate to now be associated with this great story and with this great person. And so to me, that you just can't get better than that.
Yeah, this is fantastic. And, you know, I would like to ask you, what did you discover together? I mean, what did you exchange of your passions together once you have known each other and once you were collaborating on?
Well, I think we just made an awesome team. I mean, that's what it's all about. You know, in my field, science is never an I, it's always a we. I mean, in my world, I have 250 people. When I go to sea, I'm at sea with 50 people, and when Kathleen's doing what she's doing, she has an army of people as well. And so I think we know that. We know that we are individuals, but without amazing teams and partnerships, we can't accomplish our goals.
Wow, this and for you, Kathleen.
No, the same, exactly. It's the way it is. And we are a group of different specializations, specialists in different areas that we need to work together.
Well,
Yeah.
and when the Bedouins came to her and gave her information they had kept secret for hundreds and hundreds of years of new tunnel entrances, that's really a measure of Kathleen's ability to cross over into those worlds. They didn't have to tell her what they told her, which helped us finalize the exact direction of the tunnel. And that speaks so well of her that they had that trust to tell her.
Yeah, this is fantastic. And Kathleen, you know, I would like also to ask you, what do you think will be the broader implication of this discovery in the future? I mean, I think they could reshape, you know, like we said, some of our, you know, perception of how the history went at that time.
The most interesting thing about Taposiris Magna is that it's the only temple all over Egypt that nobody knew anything about it. It has been erased from the archives. There's a lot of information in details about all the temples in Egypt except Taposiris Magna. So every time we make a discovery, we are bringing back to light all of that has been hidden for millenniums. So there's many discoveries all over Egypt, including temples that are underwater today, but those temples were described, for example, by Strabo, and he located all those temples exactly where they are today. But Strabo, for example, mentioned very little about Taposiris Magna, and knowing that it was such important temple, why it's not mentioned about it? And the discovery of the harbor also bring very, very important information, but why was not mentioned from ancient sources? And then now it's a proof that it was not only an important religious center, but also a commercial hub, that we have archaeological evidence that also was an important center of pilgrimage. And why all of that? There's no information from ancient sources. And I think this discovery underwater of the harbor, the inner harbor, and others. It's just the beginning, and it's just the beginning. We haven't excavated underwater until now. That's the plan for this season. It's just the beginning. We have been discussing with Bob what will be our next steps, because he's leading the underwater part of the project.
And I'm very excited. It's been underwater for hundreds of years, and so it's been snowed upon, so to speak, by the sediments falling. Remember, it's near the Nile, and so there's a tremendous amount of sediments in any delta. And so what we want to do is get a vacuum cleaner and clean the rug, because that pavement we found, for example, it has ripple marks, because that tells us where to excavate. So we made very detailed maps, but also very detailed imagery, so we know where we want to start removing the blanket that's covering so many secrets to that site. And that's, again, fairly straightforward technology. We just have to get it done.
Yeah, I mean, this is so, I think it would be thrilling, to know more. And I would like you to ask one quick last question, please. Like, how do you feel to put back together all these pieces? Like you have like this puzzle, and without, indication of, ancient resources that you can look upon, how can you imagine, when you will have more discoveries to see how to put back, how to choose the correct puzzle piece to put along with the others you have already had? How, like I'm asking you how it works to be an archaeologist and to be underwater, both of them. I mean, like, how would explain that to people that don't know how it all works?
Well, again, I'm not an archaeologist. I take the lead from Kathleen. She not only has a lot of work to be done underwater, she's discovering she has quite a lot of work still to be done outside the temple. I mean, tell them what you're finding outside the temple.
Well, we are doing systematic excavations, and all of those, every year we are making discoveries, and this is what we consider a piece of the puzzle. We are putting this information that we are collecting together. But for me, it has been a big jump, this puzzle, because adding the part of the temple that has been underwater, starting to put the pieces there, it's opened the project and put it in another level from my point of view. We don't know what is going to be discovered underwater yet. We have some clues, but it could be one of the biggest discoveries of the century. We just starting.
Yeah. So I hope to see more of your work and, of what is going to happen next. And it was very fascinating, really, talking to you. It was an honor and a pleasure for me. So thank you very much, for real. And,
Thank you.